Good morning and welcome to Rideau Hall. Rideau Hall is the official residence of the Governor General of Canada. For those of you who don't know, the Governor General of Canada stands in for Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Right now, David Johnston is our Governor General, but just a short time ago, Julie Payette, who is a former astronaut, was declared the next Governor General. I'm not entirely sure when she's going to be taking over for David Johnston, but I assume that it will be quite soon. In this center part of the Governor General's house, or Rideau Hall's grounds, we have a structure dedicated to a very short history of the formation of Canada. We have the French post established at the site of Quebec City in 1608. The first seigneurial grant in New France in 1634. New France was proclaimed a royal province in 1663. Monopoly charter was granted to Hudson's Bay Company in 1670. Actually, Hudson's Bay Company, now known as just the Bay, is the single oldest company in North America. In 1672, there was the first governor of New France. In 1713, we had the Treaty of Utrecht. In 1758, the Legislative Assembly of Nova Scotia convened. Treaty of Paris, the Royal Proclamation, was decreed in 1763. The Legislative Assembly of St. John's Island convened in 1773. It's kind of funny, actually, because even though St. John's is in Newfoundland, it's one of the first areas of North America to be discovered. It was actually the last to join Confederation. We had the Quebec Act of 1774. The Great Lakes International boundary was in 1783. The Legislative Assembly of New Brunswick convened in 1786. Upper Canada and Lower Canada were established in 1781, now known as Ontario and Quebec. The Legislative Assembly of Newfoundland convened in 1833. The Union of Upper and Lower Canada was in 1841. The boundary between New Brunswick and Maine was defined in 1842. The Oregon Boundary Treaty happened in 1846. Responsible government was achieved in 1848. Ottawa was designated the seat of government in 1857, years before Confederation. Before that, it was actually in York, which is now north of Toronto. British Columbia was created as a colony in 1858, and Charlottetown and Quebec conferences took place in 1864, and those were the two conferences which started to lay out Canada's independence in 1867. In the middle, we have this beautiful fountain before we continue on with the formation of Canada with the British North America Act, or Confederation as we call it, in 1867, like I said. Manitoba joined in 1870, British Columbia in 1871, PEI, Prince Edward Island, joined in 1873. The Arctic Islands were transferred to Canada. That's all of what's Northwest Territories now. The Yukon Territory was created in 1898. Alberta and Saskatchewan joined in 1905. There was a Statute of Westminster in 1831 giving more power to Canada, as it was still technically part, a lot of its laws and a lot of Canada's laws were still formed in British Parliament. They had to be okayed there before continuing on and becoming law in Canada. Newfoundland was the last to join in 1949. That's my birth province. I was born in Labrador City. The Constitution Act was in 1982. Basically, that was the repatriation of our Constitution, which originally resided in Britain. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the father of our current Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, was the one who repatriated our Constitution. And then in 1992, we had the 25th anniversary of Confederation. And as many of you know, we just celebrated our 150th anniversary. Now I'm off to Rideau Hall. I will be taking a tour later on. I don't know how much I will be able to take video, but I thought I would at least show you the outside of Rideau Hall. I hope you can hear me over the sound of the water. But as you can see, there are actually British style men at arms in front of Rideau Hall, because as I said, the Governor General of Canada represents Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So this is technically British land. We are on property belonging to the Queen. Now we have a miniature changing of the guard, just as they do at Buckingham Palace. So I just finished my tour of Rideau Hall with our tour guide, Tyler. He was absolutely fantastic. A lot of good information. We weren't allowed video in there, but I will post some pictures and maybe a little bit of detail. But you know what, that's okay, because that means that you can come here yourself to this beautiful building and check it out for yourself and take the tour. And now I think it's time for me to head over to 24 Sussex. I'm now at the gatehouse of 24 Sussex Drive, and I am going to head down Sussex towards the front of the building. Unfortunately, 24 Sussex is not open to the public. Right now, it's under renovation. It's usually the residence of the Prime Minister of Canada, but because it's under renovation, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, his wife Sophie, and their children are not actually residing there. They're actually residing on another property on the Rideau Hall estate. And here we are at 24 Sussex Drive, the official residence of the Prime Minister of Canada. It doesn't look like we can actually get a good view of the house. It appears to be behind a lot of trees, unfortunately, so oh well. You have the gates on one side of the street, the gates to Rideau Hall, and on the other side of the street you have more of these beautiful properties and gardens. This garden is absolutely gorgeous.